So, as we transition to the next segment, I am the same as you, Rip131. I also really work better under pressure. You know, stress and anxiety has a purpose, in human beings, as weird as it sounds. It's just that our natural inclinations and our instincts are very, like, let's say they are incorrectly adjusted for what the world is today. The world is improving at such a rapid, like, everything around us is just getting better and faster and quicker, and everything is just so quick and moving in front of us with such a pace that our biology can't really keep up, right? In the past, I'm sure stress and anxiety was, a good indicator of something needs to change. It's like, oh, you need to do something. This is, stress. Okay, there's a sense of urgency. Maybe this is going to make you active, It's like in the past, it was good to collect sugar and fats because you don't know what's going to happen in the winter. Maybe you're not going to have food, and then it's important to survive. And that's why you just have to mash it in. And it's like when we walk into the store, all these sugars, they are so accessible to us, and our, we need to adjust these knobs a little bit to function in a life that we're living today. Nevertheless, I wanted to give some feedback on MSI. I thought that the general level of MSI was not so high. Not so high. But I don't blame the teams. I don't blame the teams because one thing, I understand that I'm going to look at past MSIs with rose-tinted glasses because you like to remember them better for what they are. Just at, 2019, the one that, of course, G2 won, that was an incredible event with some decent teams. You had IG, you had SKT, you had Team Liquid, and you had G2. You had the staple names coming from all the best regions. But you also notice that something's off with the idea that, Team Liquid did in fact beat IG. So that's kind of weird, right? G2 won and so forth. There was a lot of weirdness to it. There was an absurd amount of best of ones. I agree, skill is killers. But yeah, I'm not sure. The new format isn't too bad, honestly. It's not too bad. It's just incredibly draining. That's like my main point here, is that going to MSI is incredibly draining. It was in the past. Like in the past, it was very, very draining. Nowadays, it's even more draining. Because imagine now Mad Lions, right? They just played their semifinals. They went to 5 games. And they have LEC starting in about like less than 20 days. That is exhausting as fuck. Very exhausting. And in the past, MSI was always tiring to go to because you play your whole spring split and then you go. Now it's even worse because you have to quarantine. You have to quarantine, you have to be in a room. It was in Iceland, which is probably super nice, but probably, just painful because you don't get to experience how nice Iceland is, because honestly, I've been to many tournaments in my life, many competitions, and almost never did I ever get a chance to experience anything that is going on. With that being said, we have a finals. I think Mad Lions should be proud of what they accomplished. I think they did really well, taking Damwon to 5 games. And between Damwon and RNG, Damwon have had a very, very hard time because their bot lane seems very out of place. I think Ghost is a very intelligent player, but I think when it comes to being mechanically crisp, I don't think he's at the level of some of the LPL AD carries. I think you get pushed in a very, very different way as an AD carry in the LPL. And when it comes to playing Kaiser and so forth, it just hasn't looked that good. You know, I am a big fan of Ghost when it comes to playing the Jins and the Ashes, because intelligence is a lot more rewarded, and individual skill expression in terms of mechanics become a lot more rewarded when it comes to playing things like Tristana and Kaiser. So Ghost looks a little bit out of place when it comes to this meta. Beryl, I don't know what's happening with him. Beryl has not been playing that well. I believe hearing a rumor about him not wanting to play solo queue in EU West, and the same thing happened over in China, as far as I know, that he just likes playing in the Korean solo queue ladder. Then he was playing a lot of Genshin Impact, but it's easy to take, you know, simple rumors like that and put them all on the idea of why someone's underperforming, when in reality we can't know. It's very easy to grasp the first thing. It's like, oh, he's looking at these weeb waifus and that's why he's underperforming. But I think that's simplifying a lot of aspects of what is performance. Like, performance is very complicated. It's a tricky thing. All in all, when I think of the finals, I think Damwon, you know, Damwon, like, Showmaker has been playing out of his mind. I think Khan has been decent. I think Canyon has been good. I think the bot lane has been struggling. I think RNG, like, if you compare the two teams, I would say mid jungle advantage Damwon. I think top is even, and then bot is advantage RNG. If you look back at the games between Damwon and RNG, what Damwon do very, very well is that they acquire natural advantages very, very good. It means they're set up for objectives and Rift Heralds, which is also an objective, and how they put themselves in a winning position without, you know, hoping for an enemy mistake is very crisp. But something that they've lost is the level of precision. They were very, very precise in the past, and whenever they made an advantage and they were in a winning position, in the games against RNG, it was very strange to see them get caught. Canyon was getting caught, Khan was getting caught, Beryl was getting caught, and RNG were very, very quick to pounce. That's what RNG is good at. Very good at pulling the trigger, very good at understanding what space is theirs and what space is not Damwon's. And Damwon have been, you know, they've just not faced that type of opposition that is going to punish you in such a manner that, you know, RNG are very, very well aware of this is our space, and then boom, you know, we're gonna, you know, knock your shit in. And that happened 2 times. If I look at the two teams, RNG has impressed me a little bit more, but Showmaker has impressed me equally much. I think this is going to be a very, very tough best of 5. I think in terms of drafting, we've seen some, you know, silliness from both teams, honestly. But I feel like Damwon, you know, it's weird for me to count out Damwon, you know. Game 5 yesterday, they just told their bot lanes, like, just don't trade. We're going to win this game, you know. We're going to win this game. You know, RNG have played better, you know. They've played better this tournament. I'll give them that. But it's not easy to predict this best of 5. It's really not easy. Thank you very much for the raid, Hysterics casts. It's not easy to predict this best of 5, I feel. I don't want to underestimate Damwon. Feels weird to underestimate Damwon. And playing a best of 5 shows a lot more than best of 1s. But RNG this tournament have looked better. I think the team fighting and the level of you know, impact AD carries have, I think Gala sits better. But what I'm thinking, you know, when it comes to the bot lane, like, imagine if you're Damwon and you just commit to throwing bans in the direction of, you know, removing Kaiser, remove, you know, you remove the trash as they permaban, right? And then you just play Ash, Jin, Senna, and that's it, you know? Maybe that's the way, you know? Reduce the amount of impact that bot has, and then, you know, Damwon look good, right? Showmaker has looked crazy good this tournament. So it's hard for me to predict RNG. You know, I don't want to commit in that direction and just blindly, you know, say, oh, this is gonna happen. RNG is gonna win because they won two best of ones. I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. I think there's certain draft adjustments that Damwon can do that would impact, you know, RNG heavier than the other way. But at the same time, Showmaker is their best performer, and the mid lane champion pool has been very slim at this tournament for every mid laner. There's not a lot of mid laners like Zoe. There's Zoe, there's Silas, there's Orianna, Victor, Lucian, and then whatever flavor of mid lane that you want to pick, right? The mid lane pool has been very slim. So there's a way, you know, to also throw bans in Showmaker's direction. He plays like everything. He pull out Yone or Jace. Yeah, the Jace was pretty neat. The Yone, not so much. Like, but to be fair, that draft was very, very one-sided for Damwon, I would say. But yeah, if gun to my head, I would have to make a prediction. I would say RNG, but I think it's going to be closer than people think, and I wouldn't be surprised if Damwon figures some stuff out overnight. But as a final note on MSI, I don't envy the teams that have to go through this, because it is, you know, I must imagine that both RNG and Damwon are tired as fuck. I must just imagine that all the teams that were in the semis, tired, very, very tired. Now they have to go back and quarantine again. You know, that is rough. So I don't envy that, and I wish them good luck. Okay, some thoughts on MSI. We move on to the next segment of the show, which is